Hey everybody, this is Alessandro. Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanna do an analysis from one of my favorite short movie from Pixar. All right, Presto. This is a very famous one. But discussing with one of my newest students, I realized how a lot of people from the new generation don't really know the existence of the short movie or some of the best movie that I always recommend study and watch. Okay, so I wanna do this analysis with you today and I want to focus on a couple of things, mostly on storytelling, which is part of our job, and also pose and clarity. All right, guys, I'm gonna leave the link in the description for the short. All right, so we're gonna go straight ahead to the analysis. I would suggest you to pause this video, first watch this short movie by yourself, and then go back and watch this video here because I can guarantee you guys this is gonna be worth it and you're gonna learn a lot. All right at the beginning, one of the things I like it is that how immediately at the beginning of the short, they're telling you what this short is about. All right, it is a magic show, right? And with just one frame, they set up the story immediately. And I also love, by the way, the composition of this pose here. I love here the energy of the arm here, and look how beautiful is the silhouette of the finger with the negative space here that kind of hold the head, right? Always observe how nice it is the line of action on the body, right? And see how it's spaced properly. The straight hands overall here and the contrast with this other angle here, right? With the finger having these very beautiful and appealing poses, right? With the eye direction pointing directly there, right? One clear poses perfectly executed, right? Let's move forward. All right, guys, same stuff here. After a few seconds, they're revealing the second most important key point of the story, which is the bunny that is very hungry. You can hear his stomach growling, and obviously it wants to eat the carrot, right? Again, in just one poses, right? See how dynamic it is. Look how fun this pose is, right? See how perfectly used line of action here, right? By just one frame, you could even not need to watch the animation, would be just enough to watch these poses and understand what the story is about, right? Look also how many times we talk about the line of action on the eyes here, how they are pointing in this direction, right? One single frame. This is what does it mean to have great story and great poses, right? With just one frame, you are able to understand motivation and character. All right, this is a key point, and that's one of the reasons why I love so much this short. Animation very snappy and very cartoony, right? Trying a little bit harder, right? You see, like how we talk about exaggeration, right? This second part here is an exaggeration of the very first one that we talk about it, right? Sometimes, like as animator, we always ask yourself, okay, I'm doing a poses, right? How can I exaggerate more from this one here to this one? And like, here you go, right? He's thinking outside of the box. He's flipping the entire cage. Just try to get there, but he's limited by the cage himself, right? He's fighting against him. And I love here the introduction. So this is the introduction of the second character. Look how the way he's animated. The pose is very clear. He's telling you a little bit about his attitude, right? Really well done. And I really love here the gesture of the hands, right? So I think this is gonna reinforce the showmanship from the character, right? You probably see this kind of gesture many times, right? Even in a simple things where he pick up the clock, right? There is an opportunity to share his personality here through the acting. And you see how his attitude changed, right? It's very interesting. He goes from this very powerful and strong and confident poses into something that it looks more suspicious, more scheming, right? He's trying to hide something, obviously. It closes very quickly. It's very quickly wanna close the lock here. But most important, see his attitude, his line of action completely change, right? His shoulder kind of covering part of his face. This is not done as an accident, right? It's all stage on purpose, right? Because it's closing himself. His entire body is next to the door, just to sell the idea. I really want to make sure I'm shutting down this door and trying to keep it secret, right? Like this small acting here, how very quickly he closes the door and he leans forward. It tells everything. How badly he wants nobody to see what he's about to do. Again, reinforce here, right? He's opening the closet. And again, one more time, he's looking behind to make sure nobody's watching it. So obviously, as an audience, we're understanding he's about to do something mysterious or intriguing, all right? There must be a secret or something that we don't know about it. Again, it's setting up the tone very, very, in a very good way, right? And obviously, you open the closet, and with the lighting and everything, it already feels very, very magical, right? So we understand that there is something special about this, right? See, his face is extremely happy, right? So obviously, we understand that those couple of objects are gonna be a key moment of the story here. And so the second part obviously is we wanna show to the audience what's so special about this couple of heads, why they are so important for the story. And so in the next few seconds we're gonna find out, right? Slow it there, and then it's reinforcing with this little trick here, right? Again, another important thing is you see so much clarity how it's been described that it's a magic head where something goes through here and comes out of the other hands, right? With such a simplicity, but at the same way, so effective way to do that. And again, I also love like how in this show every single hand poses has been crafted in a nice way, right? So always very clear the staging, right? Master in those things, like always. That's why the reason I love to study those things frame by frame. So right now, obviously, what's happening here, we are reinforcing now the contrast between these two story elements. So we have the magician, but on the other side, you see almost immediately, we are going back to the bunny, which he only cares about a carrot. He's angry. He doesn't care about anything else, right? Because you can see from this little hut in here, how as soon as you open the door, how it's jumping up and down, exciting, and he's still looking here, right? So this is reinforcing about, okay, this bunny is in a cage. The only thing he wants to eat, right? And all this gets reinforced all the time while the magician is taking the bunny away, and the bunny is trying all the time to get the carrot. And this gets reinforced for the next few seconds, right? You see how the bunny really try better to catch it, but at the same time, the magician needs to be worried about his show, right? His performance. We have in this constant reminder that the bunny is trying so badly to get the carrot, right? And the fact that he keeps trying over and over, right? He's telling her how badly he wants it, right? See how funny this little gesture here, right? How he play with how he's crossing the arms, barely moving his body, right? Again, when we're talking about the showmanship here, right? With this nice gesture here, again, we talk about the nice line of action, okay? Look at the composition. That's what I always tell to my students, right? One of the things you can recognize a good posing, a good storytelling is when you can frame some of the most important key frame here in the story and is already telling you this story in a beautiful way, right? Look at this frame. The bunny is still frozen in this position. Everything feels very dynamic, right? You see, it is amazing, right? Look how beautifully it's composed, how appealing those poses are. And to be honest, this is one of the things I think we are losing sometimes, and I feel like sometimes like a school or teacher, they don't really focus as much as we should be on this, but this is like really important thing, something that really distinguish mediocre animation to a really good one, animation and storytelling. So now here there is another reveal, like how he's planning to use this magical hat and how the bunny is part of this show, right? Here is disappearing from them, right? So again, another very important key moment, because that's how he's planning to use his magic show. And again, here it looked like he's actually wanted to finally give him the carrot, so it doesn't make it look like a completely a bad guy or anything. So he's not a bad person or anything, but he's a magician, needs to do his show, but at the same time he's want to feed his assistant. Well, what's happening here right now that we hear the audio of the door being knocked, which is gonna trigger his reaction, like, oh shit, I'm late, we need to get to the show. And very quickly he does that, and it's really funny how the bunny is stuck in this position, right? This is gold comedy, right? It's been stuck in this position for all this time, right? It's freezing, it's not even moving, it's not even animated basically. But it tells so well how actually the bunny is hungry and he only cares about the carrot, right? And nothing else matters. Overall, it's done in a really, really clear and clever way. So here we have this shot where we can see the theater, the crowd, and so here somehow we understand how important the magician are, right? Because he's in a grand theater, there's a lot of crowd, so obviously he must be extremely famous, and so obviously this performance, this magic trick, it must be extremely important for him, right? So all this just set up in this frame here, right? See, I love the pose, like I tell everybody, it's to be quiet, to stop the clapping, right? And his attitude is kind of dominant, right? We said he's an important magician, it's very serious and everything, and all this gets reinforced through his whole acting, and all this is gonna play a greater role in the second part of this shot, when we're gonna see the contrast of him start to get goofy later on. All right, let me play to see what I mean. Again, remember, same pose from the poster, right? See, very clearly, without dialogue and everything, it shows very clearly everybody how the hat is empty. Love very, very straightforward poses, right? So yeah, sometimes the poses can be just simple, guys. It can be just a line of action like this, and straight arms, obviously. It's done on purpose, so the eyes are always clear, all right, always been staged properly. Yes, looking for the head. And it's just see the funny thing is this one. That's what I'm talking about. No overacting. See, the acting here is basically just changing his facial. I love, even if you notice, guys, the touch of his nose here. See, you can open his nose. It's brilliant acting there. And then we look at what's going on in here, right? See, we go on the reason why his magic is not working. And again, I look at the frame. We have the bunny here on the right, and then the left side, the hands, very clear pose that it's trying to grab something. See clearly, right? Even sometimes, that's why hands are always said it's so important, because hands are so part of our acting, and you need to know how to pose them properly if you want to have like a great acting, great pantomime, and sometimes can help also in body mechanic shot, by the way. Like, come on, breathe back. No. And this is like, you see now, the entire show is going to be a constant reminder that, hey, I want my carrot here, right? And he doesn't have to talk or anything, just mimicking with his mouth and his hands. Brilliant and simple acting. You see this pose is not really moving much. Simplicity is the king, guys. Try harder. Oh, and it starts to smash him. And so this smashing here, how he's flipping the head and smashing on the ground, is very important, because right now it started very, very small, right? So the teasing between him and the magician, between the band and the magician, it started extremely small. But you realize how through the entire shot, these things escalate more and more, right? Okay, I'm gonna put it back. Don't hurt me, right? You see now again, he's trying back. Right? What I like is like the magician is trying back to go back to his showmanship, right? But can you see from his face, he kind of lose the confidence that he had before, right? He's a little bit worried. Okay, he's not as confident anymore because the rabbit slowly break his confidence. But these guys, very important, is happening with a gradually build up, right? And also, this is really, really funny, guys. Really love it how they play this, right? Again, you see how it's really well done, pose extremely clear, and it is very clear the gag here because it's been framed in a proper way, right? And all the eyes are here, all the lighting is here. It's done in a way so you can immediately see with one frame what's going on in here. Okay, since doing this kind of embarrassing bowing, just people are clapping anyway. In a way, it's still magical, right? But then he's looking back at him. Like, okay, I want my carrot here. I'll try again. Oop. See, the funny thing is, okay, I got you here. See, like he's very confident. Now I'm gonna pull out the trick to the bunny. Like I have an idea, and again. Even though it stays for a very short frame, again, you see how beautifully he's done this end pose. Really amazing. These guys, I will consider you to suggest you to study frame by frame this show because it's really, really well executed. And then again, the bunny, last minute, is pull everything away. You see how his body, it's pushing away the head from this direction. Again, just one pose. You notice how the characters don't move them much in this thing. We don't have to, okay? We don't have something always said the animator. In order to make a good acting, you don't have to constantly move. Oops. You don't have to constantly move your character all the time, right? Sometimes could be a small adjustment can help actually the comedy. See here again, it's very embarrassed. You can see it's kind of a forced smile here, right? You are telling that little by little, he started to get more and more uncomfortable. And from now, the joke has started to become more and more crazy, all right? And you see here, like, hey, you wanted this one, right? Again, look how beautifully this is staged, right? The contrast from this one here, right? Again, showing very clearly the carrot, and this is kind of reinforcing, pointing here, right? Everything kind of points here, all right? This is an amazing way to do poses. Obviously, it doesn't mean, guys, that every shot you do, you have to do these kind of poses, but I think there is a lot of inspiration to take from here. So yes, I want it. You see, and right now, what's happening, that the intensity of those jokes are starting to become crazier and crazier. Here, reactions start to be more exaggerated, more fun, and the way they tease each other is started to increase in exaggeration, in timing, snappiness, more fun, more dramatic. Right now, it started to escalate over and over. See, even here, right now we're getting to the point where it's been stripped out really, really naked, okay? And the level is getting embarrassed for him to be such a powerful in a way, such an important magician. It's playing a lot of contrast. Especially when we talk about it, when at the beginning his attitude was very, very different. We know how famous it is and everything, right? And now it's getting embarrassed more and more. You see the bunny is really moving. It's not really moving. Again, another important thing, so when you have two characters on the scene, if you want to focus on him and he's doing most of the movement, most of the acting, this one you want to keep it really subtle and not moving it. Well, no, I wouldn't say not moving it at all, but yeah, moving very little because you want your eyes to be here. You don't want this character to move too much. And you as an audience, you don't know where to look. Should I look here? Should I look here? Should I look at the ladder, right? So as an animator, you need to know where to guide the audience eyes, right? This is the moment for me where it feels like, okay, I have enough. Like I'm gonna give you a lesson right now. He's losing his composure. It's like this is what you want, right? I love it here how again he plays the napkin. Again, see, he's trying to maintain, even though he's all messed up in the face and everything, here he's trying to maintain his composure as a magician. And again, this plays in a great contrast where, so right now it's going completely out of character, smashing the carrot. That was so important to set up at the beginning of the shot, all his composure and attitude and everything, just because eventually he build up to this moment where you see the opposite contrast and it's breaking out of character, becoming really aggressive, smacking the carrot, right, and really going out of his personality. And this is a consequence of that previous climax, right? The characters started to chase. It's completely all over the place. They're going behind the stage, right? They're chasing each other, right? You look like for a moment, it looked like he almost grabbed him. He was kind of happy. So there is this moment where it's going up in the sky. You can feel the scream of the cloud, right? Almost like it's something serious. Like now it's becoming dangerous in a way, right? We know it's a cartoon. We know it's a comedy, but the reaction for the clouds is like, okay, this is started to get the apex, right? It's the climax here. And you can see that the bunny doesn't really care, right? He's excited. Falling, like, I love this pose here, guys. That's what I said, clarity in poses here. Fantastic. Look how beautifully this is done, right? Everything is crystal clear, right? Really massive. Falling, there's no hope for him, right? Whatever. And finally he saves him. Beautiful. Again, look here one more time. The pose very clearly. Look how the feet is pointing this direction. The head is pointing in this direction, right? See, again, it's not casual, those indication, and it's very funny and clear pose here, right? It kind of landed. It's in a goofy way, but stylish at the same time. Brilliant, really, really brilliant here, right? He can't believe himself. And everybody's clapping and cheering, right? You can see the entire environment. He can't believe he's still alive. It's so excited. The bunny is sad, and he's like, "Okay, come here." And he finally, he gave him what he was looking for through the entire shot, right? Happy, real nice, happy ending. They'll kind of go back together, right? And now we go back, to the same icon we had before. We just replaced the bunny with the head, and kinda the circle of the story wrap up and go back in a loop, right? Because at the beginning we have a similar framing here there was the head only, and now it's all about the bunny, right? So I really love how the circle of the story kinda go back and close in circle. So a couple of reflection again, guys. As I mentioned, this is like a brilliant storytelling. It shows how to make things simple but still effective, and how really the power of visual framing, staging, and poses really can tell the story. Many of you sometimes, guys, tell me, Alessandro, how come you're so creative about posing and idea and stuff like that? Well, guys, it's simply because when I was young and I was looking stuff like this, I was going them and study frame by frame. Sometimes what I used to go and I go on a specific frame, on a specific poses, and I like to draw them, then take a piece of paper and try to redraw them by myself just to understand why poses are so good, right? Then I go and study the hand posing, and obviously I wouldn't do just with the something like this, right? I will look all my favorite movie, anime, Disney, manga, comic book, and everything, right? So this for me was a biggest part, especially when I was really young and I couldn't afford to go to school or anything, right? Because I was still a teenager. So I was studying those things frame by frame, and this really stick with me. And I'm kind of surprised when today I see new students and stuff like that don't really know anything about some of those masterpiece. And when I show them, they like it, but they look like they have no idea, and they're missing so much. And sometimes I feel like we have a lot of gems and great things that have been done in the past, and we are not doing enough to share with the new generation, that maybe they're just exposed to superhero movie, visual effects, chaos, explosion, stuff like that, and they are missing all this great stuff that, in my opinion, everybody should go back and study. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and see you next time. Ciao, guys.